What's going on, people? Welcome to the Fulham match preview show. As always, make sure to get involved throughout the show. Drop a like, subscribe, and most importantly, let us know how you're feeling ahead of the game. Smiles on our faces today ahead of that one, especially after the win. That's what happens. I'm joined by Lou and Patrick to talk about the game and more. I'll start off with you, Lou. How are you feeling? I mean, going into this game after the win, it is definitely a bit more refreshing to get the 3 points, especially after what we saw against United and doing the Burnley preview.
Yeah, but I'm fatigued just watching my team play at the moment. So if I need these days off, they need these days off even more. I hope they're relaxing. Hope they're going in the oxygen chamber. All of
Yeah,
that stuff. Recovery. Christmas shopping, like Glasner said. I don't know. Go out to Novikov. Do what you got to do.
yeah. They got 2 days off, Patrick, Thursday and Friday. I guess the main positive going into this game, which we didn't have against Burnley, was that it's another day off, 3 days rather than 2 days. As you can see it, the players were gassed out. I think throughout the game, I don't know what you thought about it. I haven't discussed the game with you, but even from the first half, you could see that we weren't at the levels due to the fatigue of the players. And as the game went on, the second half we struggled. But as I said in the match reaction, massive credit to the players for holding on. And hopefully that can add a bit of confidence because we didn't concede in the second half, which we did do in the previous 2 games before Burnley.
I didn't notice the fatigue in the first half. Definitely in the second half. I think the issue with the first half was obviously Burnley obviously needing to win that game. Obviously not having Sariness and not having an additional attacking threat. Having Kamada as a 10 who wanted to drift in more and play more central. And obviously having Lerma with Wharton, which, as Louis and I discussed in the play range, they don't complement each other. They're effective at that point, but not complementary enough. So, but I didn't think they were tied in the first half. Definitely second half, you can see Munoz and Mateta, Kamada, Pino. There were a lot of tired leg Mitchell. But I thought the first half I thought we actually did a good job of getting out of there with that halftime for 1-0 lead.
Yeah, we didn't really create that many chances. I think the passing was off as well in the first half. So yeah, it was a struggle. I think it was a struggle throughout the game, in my opinion. But we managed to get the job done in the end. And Gahey assisting Munoz was, I think, a great summary of how the game went, in my opinion, in terms of the attackers and the midfielders. But massive credit to the players. And I do feel for them because you could clearly see as the game went on, even towards the end of the game. I don't think we struggled as we did if it was last season. Let's just say that if we didn't have no European games and we were fresh and we were playing once a week or with the odd cup game, I think we easily cruised past that game. So I think in previous times we would have easily not won that game, and you have to take that into account. There's great teams like, for example, Arsenal this season. Some games they're not playing well, but they still manage to get the job done, and that's why they're top. That's why they're first in the league, and that's the reason why we're fifth, even though if we're not performing well, we got the job done. But in the second half, Lou, we didn't crumble as we have done in the last few games, as I've mentioned. Do you think that will add that confidence? I know we talk about fatigue, but confidence also definitely played a part maybe in a few of the recent games, it feels like, going to this one.
I think Glasner always mentioned the best part of recovery is winning. So the fact that they're coming off a win, the confidence is going to be higher. Fulham's definitely a tougher game, but I also think Fulham will have to be a bit more expansive. There'll be a few more gaps. But I think our whole season has been based on being really solid at the back. So I feel like when we get it right at the back, it gives us that base to, like yesterday, nick 1-0s and 2-0 wins. So what I'm looking at is it's just this period is just going to be back against the wall, good defending, just the players knowing their job. So yeah, that win is massive and a clean sheet. So yeah, it's perfect. It's perfect for the Fulham game.
Yeah, I agree, and I think we saw what you said come into play after the Liverpool game when we beat them 3-0. We saw it, like we were solid defensively, was barely conceding any goals, and we went on a nice little 4-5 game run. And you could see like that's what we're built on, Patrick. The defense, and yesterday to get that clean sheet was just massive for the team in terms of confidence, which definitely does play a part going into this one because Fulham, they scored 4 goals against City. I know City are not great defensively, but they have got goals in them, which we'll talk about their stats a bit later down the show.
Yeah, so I'm not really worried about performances. If you look at our away record, we've given up 4 goals only in the last in away games. The one against West Ham, 2 against Everton, the one against Arsenal. We are second in the league in clean sheets, behind Arsenal. Also have 8. We've had 7. We've only conceded 11 goals in the league, and also conceded 7. Obviously, Arsenal being the best team in the league. So for me, I know people just said the performance wasn't great. I think the players have done a great job of digging deep, playing 3 matches in 6 days. Yes, we lost to the first 2. Set plays really killed us, but I love the fact that the manager gave us the players the next couple of days off. They deserve it. We can somehow get through this tough December fixtures. Obviously, every team struggled in December because of the amount of games that you play. We can get through, win the Sherborne game, beat Cups, somehow get a couple of wins, steal a couple of wins in the Premier League, and maybe beat Arsenal. I'll be very happy. So, but for me, performances don't matter right now. Just get through with the thin squad and move on to January window.
Yeah, I agree with you. In terms of the performances. Let's say that we were performing like that for like 5 or 10 games in a row. Then eventually it'll catch up to you. But this December period is always going to be difficult. We're going into another week of games we're going to be playing 3 games in 1 week, and it's similar to what happened last week. So this December period is going to be hectic. Of course, that's looking ahead a bit too far. The Conference League, in the Premier League, we can afford to drop points here and there. Conference League, for example, that's going to be interesting how the squad is when we do play that game. But yeah, look, we still won. We still beat Burnley, and we still kept a clean sheet. And I think we're just going maybe over the top. I know everyone has their own opinions, but going over the top with expecting great performances as well as wins and stuff. Like, we just don't have the squad for that. That was the main positive leaving Turf Moor with 3 points. We still managed to get the job done. But saying that, I don't know what you lot thought about it. In terms of passing in that Burnley game, it was quite worrying, Blue. Do you think rotations are needed going into this one? He did rotate against Burnley, but it just felt too off. You see Adam Walter making mistakes that you just don't simply expect him to make.
I think it just goes hand in hand with the performance, isn't it? It wasn't the greatest performance, but it was a great result. It just gives them they can go back, they can look at what went wrong, what they can improve on. Obviously, they know they're going to be a bit more tired, so they're going to have to be adjustments. I wouldn't say rotation. There might have to be slight tactical tweaks, or certain players might have to have reduced minutes and stuff like that. But yeah, we'll go into Sunday if Man United play tonight, so we'll be 6th at minimum. So there's a lot of confidence to work from. The manager's happy to a certain extent after this win. So when you say rotation, it's all dependent on fitness and what the manager sees. Take each game by game, and whatever fits best to win the game or get a result, that's the team he'll put out.
I just address your passing comment, which is interesting. We're 19th in the league in passing accuracy, 76.9%. We are the only team that's accurate passing in the league is Brentford. So it's not like yesterday was an aberration. We just actually aren't a really good passing. And then if you listen to what Glasner says, the reason we're not, because we try to play the ball forward exactly. And
I was going to say that. The reason for that is we're direct. Yeah, we're a direct team. So,
but I do know what you mean. What happens is when someone like Wharton has misplaced passes, it looks way worse because he doesn't misplace passes.
It's the basic passes. Overall, you're right, and that doesn't surprise me about our.
But there was a few loose ones from Pino.
We did go direct. Even yesterday, for example, we were going direct at times to Mateta, and naturally, he's not going to win every single ball. So that's going to contribute to the passing accuracy. So that if you look at the season overall, then we're probably not a great side because of how direct we are. But yesterday, by just the eye test, you just look at Yeremy Pino, for example. You look at Adam Wharton. It just didn't make sense. Some of the passes right in front of them and just misplacing it or over hitting it. So that's what I was really referring to in terms of the passing and like rotations. But what's your thoughts on it, anyways, in terms of rotations in this one, Patrick?
Well, I called for rotation in the last game, and we only got it wasn't rotation because Saar was injured. It's gonna be very interesting because you got to sacrifice a game coming up. literally sacrifice a game, like give up on the game by playing players who haven't played? Is it Fulham? It's not going to be Shelbourne. Obviously, we have to win that game. Is it Man City after that? Yeah, it's Man City right next week.
Yeah.
It's Man City next. Yeah, I'm saying we're gonna have to sacrifice the game because there's no way Wharton, for instance, can keep starting all these games. So rotation wise, he did mention Sosa's back. He's probably not going to rest Mitchell, but he needs one. Convo could maybe come in for one of the centre backs. I don't know. I'll be honest with you. I saw someone putting group out about how many minutes our subs have been playing. I don't know. It's an interesting. I would love to see rotation, but knowing the manager, I don't think we're gonna do much rotation for this game.
What was interesting is that when we're talking about rotations, even the subs that came on yesterday, it's not like anyone really performed at a level where you're saying, all right, cool, start next game. I thought Nketiah was average and Deveni didn't offer much. It just felt like fresh legs rather than anything of quality. Funny enough, Burnley subs had more of an impact to the game than Palace subs did. And there was a question, and someone asked this, Lou. I don't know if he was watching the show at that point, but why is that the case? Because Nketiah hasn't started every game this season. Deveni hasn't started every game. Hughes hasn't started every game. So it can't really be fatigued. Why is that the case that the Burnley subs had more of an impact than the Palace subs? And is that now the answer to some of the people saying that we need more rotations? I know it's not Esse and Uche, which everyone loves talking about, but maybe these players are just not at the same level in comparison to what we have at the starting 11, and the quality drops to that much that Glazer can't really risk rotating the squad.
Yeah, I think it just I can only compare it to, when we talk about like Esse came in for that Millwall game and he played with rotational players. So like when how do I explain it? So when you're coming into a game where the team aren't playing well already, it's going to be hard for Nketiah to come and just turn it because our best players, Sar's not there. Our midfield isn't clicking. Our number 10s aren't really clicking, so they're not going to look good when they come on. So I think it's just circumstantial for that game. Burnley had to chase the game, so they're gonna have to have the impetus on the game. Carlos Edwards is a tricky player with a point to prove. Him and Larson come on. They want to be playing. We're more protecting the game. Burnley have only got one thing in their mind: get a point out of this game, and we're thinking we just need to get away with these 3 points. So it's just the mentality and the circumstance of the game that made it look like that. Because when Eddie came on against Wolves and we got the win, he changed the game then. I would say you can't really say he's a substitute for the Man United game because he played majority of the game.
Too.
So
goal,
Liverpool. There you go. So I think it's all circumstantial. But there is definitely a drop off when we bring subs on. We probably got a good 13, 14 players.
Louis, can I pull you up on that comment about Esse? Now, again, I'm not trying. I like the kid. I hope he does well. But in the Millwall game, he started up front with Mateta and Pino. Midfielders were Hughes and Kamada, and we had Gehi, Lacroix, Convo in the back. It wasn't a fully. It was only 2 or 3.
No, but it was rotate. It was a rotate. It wasn't like Palace's 11 with an Esse in there.
Yeah,
and it was Pino's new.
But Warren was injured though. Warren couldn't have played. Yeah. So my point is, it wasn't as many rotations as you would have thought. My point is that he was given the opportunity, he didn't perform. And again, it wasn't just that one game. I'm sure. Again, the issue with Uche and Esse, I think, is just a matter of they're not performing well enough in training, and he's not seeing enough to trust them. I do agree that I'd like to see them be given opportunities at points, but again, I cannot kill the manager when you're 6th in the league or 5th, whatever we are, 5th, 6th, EFL quarterfinal, still have a good chance of getting through in the Conference League. I'm not going to kill him for not playing players who haven't shown me enough. As much as I want them to do well, they haven't shown enough to prove that they deserve to play. Whereas a Lerma, a Hughes, a Kamada, for example, he actually plays a lot, obviously, and then Nketiah have proven that when a Convo even have proven they come in, they perform well enough to deserve more minutes. Whereas, again, we talk about this all the time, but guys, it's just the 10s that we're having the issue with. It's not the midfield. Yeah. It's not even. That's not defensively. You can say striker.
I would really. But I would. I'm on Glasner's side. I'm not. If Glasner says these players, if Uche and Esse aren't ready to come on, I agree with him. But there is a part of me that wants someone to ask, why aren't they playing? I want him to have the blunt answer. I want him to say they're not good.
Remember? Remember he did it with Essay, and people took it the wrong way. He said he was very plain about Essay that he wasn't, and he said, "But I'm gonna put my arm around him, whatever." But but Uche,
but then since then,
No.
and he went down and he done well in the under-21s, and he got back in the squad. He ain't had a minute.
Right. He hasn't.
So, you're right. He hasn't had a minute, but he clearly doesn't.
I agree with what he's doing. I don't have anything. I think everything Glasgow's doing is the right thing to do. I just want to hear the words come out so we can put it to bed.
But I don't think he's going to come out though publicly and
no. But if a journalist asks him why are Essay and Uche not getting minutes, he will tell you exactly why they're not getting minutes.
But why do you think they're not asking him that? I don't know. I'm not going to go into conspiracy theories, but sure, is it? There's a press officer there. There's the club. Like, is there reason? You see how Glasgow gets pissed off.
He's happy to answer to call out his board.
I think there must be something for them not to ask particularly about. They have to be. I can't remember. Look, my memory's bad when it comes to.
No one's asked about specifically Uche and Essay, because
again, Essay is not a question you need to ask him. It's asked and answered. We know why he's not playing. The Uche one is the one. Is that because the whole thing with that? Does he have a clause? For the 10 matches, there's now a clause you're hearing in the media. We're going to send him back. We're not going to send him back. There's no break clause, whatever. It's Uche. I don't need to hear the Essay question answered again because he came on against Larnaca for 3 minutes and he hasn't been on the bench ever since. He hasn't put another minute in. There's a reason why he's not playing. I don't care about Essay right now. But it's the Uche question I have because to me, we probably misprofiled him as a striker versus a 10, and he's playing only as a 10 mostly. I don't think he's played one game. I don't think he came in. Did he come in even one game?
Yeah, he did. He did one game up front.
Right, one game.
That was for the Mateta sub, which was a few minutes against Alkmaar. That was when I was, funny enough, most impressed with him. He didn't do much, but the standards are so low that he looked like a trouble. Like
right.
he's physically
4 minutes Alkmaar, you're right. And I was there, yeah, right.
And that was the only game that I saw from Uche to say, all right, but look, he hasn't played as much, and I want to bring other people's side to this as well. I agree with both of you in terms of Essa and Uche. There's a reason why they're not playing. I agree with Glasner in terms of his decision making. There's no way he's not going to be playing these players when he talks about fatigue and all of this. If they're genuine, proper options that can help this team, he doesn't play players for the sake of it. We've known this for ages. He said it himself. However, what people like to say is, how would you know how these players are going to be performing if you don't even give them the opportunity? So how do you answer that, Lou? Because you say that, I know you're not Glasner. I'll put you on the spot.
games are
but like, what do you say to those that have that thought of mind?
Games are too tight. He doesn't.
That is actually a very good point that you make. Because, what games have we had this season where we can say, all right, you know what, we're 3-0 up, go on, Uche, Essay. The games have been tight throughout the season. Brentford's the only one, but.
And even then, Brentford have a threat of set pieces and stuff.
Right. Yeah. But there is that side of the argument as well, where people are saying, all right, Uche, you us three, I think we're all in agreement with it in terms of there's a reason why they're not playing. Let's stop talking about Uche and Essay. Glasner clearly see something that we don't see. However, people are saying, for example, Patrick, well, how do you know that if they're not given any opportunities on the pitch? Essay was given an opportunity, by the way. And that Millwall game, I think people forgot. It was really bad, like really bad. And I don't want to put him down, but clearly he needed some time to reset. And I think he's going through his own process. So with Essay, I completely understand it. Uche is a big question mark, but there's something we don't see. That's how I see it. But what's your thoughts on it?
No, you're right. Again, I mean, but again, this is not Football Manager. You can't just put a player out there for 20 minutes thinking that, he'll produce. The thing is, you're right. There has not been a match. I mean, the biggest we've had so far in the last 2 months was the Liverpool game, the 3-0. In that game, for enough, Uche played 7 minutes. But there hasn't been a game where, again, we are a very strong defensive side. So all our games are going to be tight. Yesterday, 1-0. Before those, up 1-0, losing 2-1. So they've been tight. So there isn't a time when we're up 4 or 5-0 and say, oh, put Essay on, put Uche on. It doesn't work that way in this game. It's not Football Manager. You can't just play out there and hope he does well. Because the worst thing Glasner wants to do, the worst thing is to be up 1-0 away to Burnley, bring on Essay and Uche and lose 2-1. Imagine if that had happened yesterday. What would have been the fallout today? So for me, he wants to win matches, and I got no problem with it. Again, I'll say it again. I want to see Uche and Essay play, but if they don't deserve to play, I want to win matches. I'm not worried about egos of an 18-year-old or a 22-year-old who just came from Spain. I like both the signs at the time, but clearly, again, they're not producing. If given the chance, let's hope they do. But I'm honestly I'm tired of the conversation. I really am, because it's just
Exactly.
boring.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Some listeners are as well. When it comes to Uche, just quickly, I'll add. As I said, from the limited time, he seems more like a physical presence rather than a technical presence. Of course, I've barely seen him play in terms of to make that conclusion as a whole, but that's what it feels like. And that is a very interesting point that you've made about, Uche and Esse. It's not about what they do maybe on the ball, it's about what they do off the ball. For example, Devaney can be trusted. Yesterday, yes, he wasn't great on the ball, but he's still running about, he's still pressing, he's still doing what Glasner wants them to do. So it might be a case of Glasner may think that they can offer a bit more in terms of in comparison to when Mateta's tired and when Yermopino's tired, and they can maybe get on the ball, but it's about what they do off the ball. That could be a factor that we don't really consider as well.
And can I point that out? Because again, Lou and I just did the play ratings, and we didn't give Venny like a high score. But I'm telling you what, the Venny does off the ball is underrated. A lot of times, like I remember yesterday, even there was a point where he went centrally and Eddie went to the 10 for like a few minutes because he was just chasing the ball down. And you want to talk about he doesn't do X, Y, and Z. When Devaney comes into the game, he does his job. He's not in out of position, so you can't like make a big switch and have a guy wide open. He makes plays. He doesn't make a silly foul like Eddie did yesterday. You know what I mean? He doesn't do things that Uche might make a silly foul. Esse might give the ball away. You know, he doesn't do things that, he's not spectacular. And I get all that. That's why I say to you guys, I'm not a Devaney fanboy, but he's a good squad player. And squad players do what Devaney do. They come on for 10 minutes, they see out games, and we get the win. He's not going to come on. I want to see him come on and against Man United, curl a free kick top corner and get the 2-2 draw. We'd love that, right? Because that'd be fantastic. But that's not what he does. So I understand what you guys are saying about Devaney, but he does his job. And I'm telling you now, Uche could do that same job. He'd be playing and Devaney would not be playing. Simple as that. He would be.
Yeah, I agree. When we're talking about the Fulham game in particular, we mentioned rotations, but Kamada did start Lou against Burnley, and he started in the 10 position. Do you think that is going to be the way forward in December? And then Nketiah is going to be an option off the bench to help maybe manage Mateta's minutes? Because as we mentioned with Uche and Esse, for example, clearly they're not really in the picture. And we do need to bring someone off the bench. You know, you can't have Mateta playing 9 minutes every single game, not only Mateta, a few other players. So do you think that's going to be the move going forward, or?
I've got no clue. I don't really like it.
What don't you like about it? What, Kamada in the 10 or?
Just, yeah. Listen, it's tough. It's tough. I don't really know, you know. I prefer Kamada with Wharton. But then, like you said, you need options off the bench. If he's going to play in the 10 for me, he's got to go left 10. But then Eddie's needs to go left 10. And Pino can't play right 10. We just got, it is what it is. Do you know what? I'm fatigued about talking about who plays where and whatnot. It's just, that's why I'm just like, whatever, innit? Whatever.
Patrick, what do you think about the 10 position? We did mention maybe going into Burnley, it's time for Eddie to step up, but he still came off the bench. How would you like to see Glasner approach it? Of course, I know Glasner is best, but what do you think he should be doing?
I have no problem with Daichi in the 10 because he tends to come in centrally and help out anyway. But the thing is, the manager made it very clear Eddie's not ready to start and play 90 minutes. We don't need him to get injured. If he get injured now with Sarr out, we'd be up the creek big time. So I get what he's trying to do. He's trying to bring him along slowly. So Kamada again in the 10 against Fulham wouldn't be the worst thing. I think you're going to have to figure out a way to rotate Kamada and Nketiah. Good news was yesterday, or he didn't mention it today, but looks like Saul might not be out for very long as far as the swelling goes down. So he might be back in a couple of matches, which would be a great boost. So we have to only manage it for a couple of matches. So I noticed that Kamada didn't start against Strasbourg, could only play 8 minutes. He's got a little bit of a rest, so he could probably start again against Fulham. He wouldn't start Devaney, Uche, Esse on in the picture. So Nketiah, again, the reason I wouldn't start Nketiah, I don't want him getting injured. As much as, I want him to play, I just don't think it's a good idea to risk it. Because again, if he goes down and you're left with poor Mateta again playing 90 minutes, I'd rather honestly bring in Nketiah as a number 9 again and give JP that rest for 15, 20 minutes. So it's an interesting question. I again, unlike Lou, I'm not that bothered by Kamada playing at 10. It's not a long stretch. We mentioned before that he hasn't even had been injured a lot for Palace. He's played a lot, so it's not like he's very reliable. So for me, Kamada in the 10. What we need, honestly, we haven't mentioned it, is we need Pino to step up more because he's been really bad last couple of games, and that can't continue.
Yeah, he has been, and when you're talking about Eze replacement, and we saw what Eze done in the second half of last season, it's just not good enough. And it's not a case of him being poor. He was just, without going too crazy on it, he was just awful. Like, his passing was what? He ended the game with like 30%, 50% overall passing. It was just, yeah, that is just crazy numbers for a Premier League player, especially a player that's got the experience that he's got. So let's see what happens with him. Just quickly on Fulham, in terms of key players that I'm looking out for, Iwobi. He's had the most key passes for Fulham, 1.5 in the entire squad per game so far this season. Chukwueze, he's been on form. I believe he scored 2 goals against City. Also, when he came on against Spurs as well, he's been a threat. Goals conceded, I think that's the key metric between the two clubs. We've conceded 11 so far this season. They've conceded 22. In terms of goals scored, we're pretty much similar, so 19-18. So it seems like, their leaky defense could be a target for us, Lou, going into this one.
Yeah. Definitely, the manager always goes into these games wanting to win. Fulham ain't in the greatest run of form. They won a couple before the City game, but yeah, they definitely will be wanting to get a bit of revenge on us because we kind of ruined their season last year. Beat their asses, belt to ass in the FA Cup. And then and we beat them in the league a couple of weeks before. Kind of derailed their season a bit. After those 2 games, it was just a bit of nothing. So yeah, they'll be looking for revenge. Me personally, I wouldn't be upset with a draw.
Yeah. Patrick, last 2 games at Fulham's grounds. You were at one of them, league, right? You was at the FA Cup. No. You was at the League One. No, you was at the League One. You was at the 2-0 one. We've scored 5 goals, conceded 0 away from home against Fulham. We've in the last 5 games, 2 wins, 2 draws, 1 loss. The loss came, I think that was the game where Kamada got sent off, and that was just
9 men.
Yeah, bad times. But in terms of Fulham's threats, they've got great attackers, but you can clearly target their defense.
Yeah, and I was going to say that. I mean, as much as people want to rate Calvin Bassey, I don't think he's a very strong defender. I think he's very technically very good, but he's not a strong defender. He tends to do things that I don't understand and why a central defender does things that he does. Anderson, we know Anderson, good player of the ball, but has some bozo moments when he's not being fully concentrated in there. And they've been switching out their right back. I guess Castagna and Tete have been kind of rotating a little bit. Anthony Robertson's not there, so he can't play left back for them. So they've been using, obviously, Sessegnon. But without a doubt, defensively, they can go. I was laughing. I was watching the game on Tuesday, and I thought City would score like 8-9 goals. They only ended up scoring 5. And they credit to them for fighting back, but there was a stretch where they lost 4 matches in a row to Villa, Bournemouth, Arsenal, and Newcastle. They're not having a great season. They've done better. They'd won 2 games before they lost the City game. Their defense is not good. Again, historically, Fulham, at least last season, we have done well. But again, like I said, it's a game that I would be happy with the draw based on fatigue only. If it wasn't for fatigue and not having Sarr, by the way, because not having Sarr is going to be a big miss, I would definitely want to go out and win this game. But I think the fatigue issue is going to be a big deal. So if we can get a draw out, this would be great. But they're not good defensively, so we can get at them. What we got to do, hopefully, is take our chances if they come up.
Yeah. Let's see what happens. Let's move on to score predictions.
It's me first. I'm gonna go 1-1 draw.
Yeah, 1-1 draw.
All right, before we do that, I've taken a step back. Dee's taken over, by the way, people for the
Unk's just taking a week off. He's just taking a week off.
The timing of the setback. I mean, I will tell you.
I'm going to explain it. I'm going to explain the timing of the setback. It's funny enough because all of a sudden yesterday, AJ got the score right 1-0, so he got 3 points. So did T. So did Louis. But funny enough, D got 3 points. All of a sudden was asking for the standings right away. So since he's so enthusiastic about it, I decided to let him take over, taking care of hitting. But no, we're not done yet. Nick got no points. He had Burnley 1-0. Xavier and I both got a point for getting the correct. We won, but we didn't get the correct score. So as D put in the chat, which I'll have to pull up now because I don't have it in front of me.
He's probably got it off by heart in his head now.
Yeah. So I
He
can tell
does.
you exactly.
Yeah.
What
No,
it was.
I'm good. I got
Okay.
it. I got the standings. AJ at 24 points in first. T in second on 19. Louis on 16. G now up to fourth on 15. Patrick, I have 13. Xavier has 12. And now poor Nick, who was talking a lot of smack, is now in the basement. But here's the funny part, all right, people, which is why I want to bring this up. So we have predictions for today, and I know that I have my prediction because I'm obviously on the show. Louis and D will have theirs. Xavier has his. But AJ and T all of a sudden didn't put their scores in. And it's funny, when I was doing the compilation, I was getting it, but all of a sudden people aren't putting their scores in. So anyway, it looks like AJ and T are out for this week. But anyway, you guys now you can continue D with your monologue.
I said 1-1.
No,
I'm sorry. You want to stick that in 1-1, 1-1 for Louis, 1-1 draw for Lou.
Yeah.
D.
I'm gonna go for 2-0.
Palace.
Yeah.
Exactly. Got to name a team after. So just to reiterate, Louis gone 1-1 draw. D's gone 2-0 Palace. I have gone 2-1 Palace. Xavier's gone for a 1-1 draw, same as Louis. And Nick's gone for 4. Nick's gone desperate. He's gone 4-2 Palace. But again, as of recording, we have no AJ or T.
They was warned a few times though.
They was warned a few times. They read it as well, so it's up to them. Okay. So that's up to them.
Well, here's what I'm going to say as the right now still commissioner. If they get the scoring before Sunday, they can obviously be in it. If they don't put the scoring, they'll get no points, obviously.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm not sure why they decided not to put it. I guess they're busy, but I'm not going to get into.
You know what? We should give them whatever they get. They get -1 off their score. So if they get 3 points, they get 2. If they get 1, they get 0. If they get 0, they get -1.
Yeah. No, I agree with that.
That's the fine. That's the fine.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they read it. If you didn't read it, then fair enough. You read it. And you read it.
No busy gimmicks. No busy gimmicks.
Yeah, exactly. It just literally type in 10 seconds,
Yeah.
1-0 or 2-0 or whatever you think. But anyways, let us know your score predictions in the comment section down below, as well as how well you're doing so far. We'll be back, of course, for the match reaction. There's so much going on that even every day is something new. So yeah, next up will be the match reaction. So keep your eyes peeled for that. That's it from us. And until next time, up the Palace.